Okay, I enjoy Jonathan Winters. I really do. I've known him for a long time. I never know what he's going to do. He's a superb talent. And he's got a Showtime special called Jonathan Winters and Friends that premieres this Saturday night. Would you welcome Mr. Jonathan Winters?
Well, I want to tell you, Johnny, don't worry about the tanker. I'm not... I'm sorry. I was sleeping. The next thing, a little otter put his face in a portal.
Well,
licked my face and boom.
True.
Now I'm on cruise ships.
You were not on. You were not. Oh, that's not. You were not at the helm then.
No, I wasn't at the helm. I probably should have been, you know. But now I'm on the cruise ship, and I'm a good time being a full-time womanizer. But
good to see you again.
Hey, good to see you.
So I had no idea what you were going to do before you walked out here.
I didn't either. I saw that poor devil go in the water, and boy, that's, you know, and he's a big guy. He's not, he's like I am, better-looking man.
I think you're a fine-looking man.
Well, and you're an attractive man. Well, we certainly covered that.
Listen,
you're new in the bar.
Let's don't let this slip into something shorter. Leather City, huh? Nice. Oh, Leather City.
Wait till I take you home to Mother. She's going to love you.
You know, when you came out with that, it reminded me of my Navy days, because normally a flag officer, you know, has the scrambled eggs on the hat. I
bought this where I buy a lot of hats, an antique shop, an antique show. I think it was a show here in California, and it's the Cunard line. And I guess are they still operative? I'm not sure.
Sure.
As far as I know, I usually go down to Long Beach on a Saturday afternoon and see what's happening, you know, whether they're going in or coming out or whatever. And, of course, if a guy does fall, then I grab his hat. But it's kind of fun.
You were not a sailor, of course.
No, I was...
Army man.
I was a Marine.
Marine, yeah.
That's
right. Semper Fi, huh?
Semper Fi, always faithful, isn't it? Always faithful? Yeah. Always ready as... I know Semper Paratus was the other. That's Coast Guard, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they were right there.
What's the Boy Scouts?
Boy Scouts?
Yeah.
I think Boy Scouts is pretty much this. Yeah. Well, and when they get older, it's still that. 3 fingers, you know. Let's do it.
Were you a Boy Scout at all?
No, I was not a Boy Scout. I wanted to be. My mother was. I went to her at that time. I was a little old, too. I thought I'd be a shoo-in. I was almost 16.
Well, that's a little old, yeah.
Yeah, a little old, and I thought that's the reason I'd stand a better chance. So I went to her, and I said, I'd like to be an Eagle Scout. And she said, well, you just don't walk in as an Eagle. You have to be a Cub. You're too old to be a Cub.
Merit badges, all.
Yeah, merit badges. And I said, well, at least I'd like to be a Boy Scout. And she said, well, do you have money for a uniform? And, of course, I never had money for anything except a knife that I had in my boot. I had a high top, so I always had that. And I still carry it. You know, when I'm driving now, I'll be driving after the show, and I have a good-sized rascal, you know. Put that in, you know. So when somebody sticks their finger up in the air or something and says something unattractive or sideswipes me, I always, hey, how you doing, man? How you doing? Good. A little bit of violence, you know.
So you never became a Boy Scout?
No, I never became a Boy Scout. There were so many areas that I failed in.
Well, we talked a little bit about, you're from the Midwest, Ohio, and I'm from the Midwest, which is considered, you know, right in the heart of the country. About this time of the year, spring. Nice back there. Remember girls? Oh, how'd you do with the girls when you were young?
I think I remember girls in the winter, too.
Winter, too? Well, of course, I didn't mean that you...
I was looking forward to spring. And, but no, I was a kid. Again, I had a lot of chores. Plus, the fact that I remember Sunday school, I was asked constantly, stop thinking about it.
Oh.
And...
that was a sin.
Well, I guess it was a sin.
Yeah.
And I've always said, you know, God is in my mind and the devil's in my pants. At any rate, I was a kid. I wasn't a lech. I wasn't a horny kid or anything like that. I was just kind of always, ooh. Once you open the eyes, then you're considered bad news, you know. Hi, Betty Jean? Come on, why don't you do that?
And they were always named somebody like Betty Jean.
Always Betty Jean.
Oh, yeah.
And it was always, no. What's this? What is this? No. You know? All right, then try a smaller size.
Will you respect me tomorrow? Remember those?
Will you respect me?
You won't respect me.
One thing I did, I made a terrible move. I've only done this once in my life.
Yeah.
Of course, I've been married so long now, all this is behind me. Boy, is it behind me. Any rate, one time in high school, I was getting ready to go away anyway, and this wonderful gal, she really a beautiful gal. Her dad was a cop. I'd give her name out, but I'm sure he's still alive. And cops have a way of living longer than anybody, really, unless, of course, you know, it's a shootout. But even when he had white hair, it was, hey, you lay a hand on my daughter and I kill you. And then he'd pump that rascal, you know. Well, so I never laid a hand on her. However, thoughts do go through your mind once you're out of town. And we were going to a drive-in theater, and it was about...
drive-ins, yeah.
No more. But hey, listen, boy, that's those are fun pads, you know. And so I had this little fun car with a stick shift, you know. I mean, I say stick shift that was down on the floor. Floor. And they were awkward, too, of course, you know, moving those things and bending them a lot. So, at any rate, I turned to this girl, and we had seen the movie, both attractions, a doubleheader, double feature, and we pulled out, and we were about a mile away from the drive-in. It was Dayview Drive-In, always remember that. And I turned to her and I said, Polly, I'd stopped the car. And I said, I'm crazy about you, and I love you, and I know you've dated a lot of guys, which she had, about 56 guys. And she'd been through baseball teams and, football. Anyway, a lovely girl, maintained her figure. And so I said to her, just give me a big kiss. Typical of a kid, you know, a young boy. And I said, give me a big kiss. I really need that, if nothing else. And then I said something else because I became excited, and I said, if you don't, get out and take a walk. And she got out. And I felt sorry for her. It was quite chilly. And we were at least 8 miles from town, you know, take a walk. It's very crude. And I can understand where women and young girls especially hate young men for saying something like that. You know, come on, I want something.
Yeah.
So I said, I apologize. And she cold-cocked me. Broke my jaw in 4 places.
Paulie.
Oh, boy. I went home like this.
You'll never forget.
Strong woman.
Yes. We'll be right back. We're back. Reminiscing about growing up in the Midwest. Did you have a relatively happy childhood?
I had an unusual childhood. It was always, are you here again? What is it? What is it now? Well, I just came in for some love. All right, we're going to love.
Sorry I brought that up. Just a little affection, huh?
But I must say, I was an only child, and I'm getting very close now to where I'm almost stopping complaining about my childhood entirely, which is very tough.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's true. I mean, you know, if you're making a good living and you got a family and your wife and a house, it's very close to being paid for. Just about like this.
Things aren't so bad then.
No, things aren't so bad. And I got a car, you know, and a wild beast in the yard. We don't know what it is, but it's...
Where did you?
It's passed away, and we've got it on a track. You know,
Yeah.
we've got it's dead. But what we have done, we took a taxidermist, did something a little bizarre. No animal lovers, and I love animals. I want to lay that.
I know that.
I love animals, but when Scrubbles, not Scrabble, Scrubbles, I don't know. Yeah, our neighbor named it. He's an alcoholic, but and he's very Scrabble. So we took bicycle flare, the reflectors, and put that in the animal's eyes. Boy, when you see that rascal coming down the path,
It's an attention getter.
yeah, it's an attention.
Well, you must have picked up your bizarre sense of humor from somewhere in your family. Your mother, father, or grandfather? I
My
mean,
mother had a great sense of humor.
Yeah,
She was
mine
a
too.
Very, very funny lady.
Yeah,
and
mine too.
very, very tough. She was in show business. She was on a small radio station.
But funny.
But funny.
Yeah.
It's funny. She said something to me which has carried through my life, and it's a little something I'd like to pass along to you. Perhaps if you're, just drop Reader's Digest there in the Pullman car number 38. My mother turned to me one time and she said, maybe I've mentioned this on the air before, and if I have, why, raise your hands. But she said, would you like to be an intellectual? And I always wanted to be because I was very slow. I was labeled dumb in a number of classes. So coming out of the war and everything, I thought, geez, it would be fun to be an intellectual, at least to take a crack at it. And she said, always read the end of every book. Forget about the beginning. Forget about the middle. Read the end. And remember to move constantly among the hors d'oeuvres and a little patter that's going on at a cocktail party so that somebody come up, hi, John. Did you read the Lavender Beaver? Wasn't that an interesting thing where the man escaped to Minsk? And, oh yes, I did read that. Fascinating book. And, of course, the star, he was stabbed 16 times in the forehead and then fell forward on a used paper. I think it was New York Times. And, fascinating. Excuse me, I want to get some more d'oeuvres. And,
Just throw in the last finish of the book and move on.
Yeah. So she helped me with that. My grandfather was kind of guy. He was funny.
Yeah.
He'd been a banker, and he said, bankers are not funny. They're wealthy, but they have no sense of humor. And he said, tellers, are like this, and they're really like that, of course, if somebody does this. But he was funny, and he said, just think, and he loved show business.
Yeah.
He never got into it, but he said, the great thing about show business is you can be anybody you want to be. I mean, of course, that's not true. We know that, John. There are a lot of things I want to be. The thing is, it's important to know where you're playing. All the world is not a stage. Might have been when Willie was alive, But if you start playing out here about 3 blocks away, past Hadney's or Chadney's, wherever it is, and directing traffic, okay, Bob, all right. There's a flying saucer coming in. Mr. Winters.
And you used to do those kind of things, didn't you?
Oh, yes.
All the world was a stage.
All the world was a stage. Also, all the men were in heavy white with a red cross on their arm.
And they came and said, don't do that no more.
God, it just seemed months after. How are we doing today? What do you mean, how are we doing? I want to get out of here, man. Well, you will when you get well. I'm well now. Can't you tell I'm well? I feel great.
We shall return.